Alright, we're back in the world of Transformers once again, and with the review I did of the 2007 movie tie-in game just a couple of months ago, I had promised that I would eventually jump into the sequel, Revenge of the Fallen. Now, of course, the reason I didn't immediately jump on that is because I haven't really had much motivation or really the best mindset, or just to be simple, just to be plain and simple, I haven't been able to mentally focus on writing, on like doing any reviews really. Like yeah, I've been doing like voiceover stuff and all that and etc, but those are the kind of stuff the kind of things that I don't really need to put much editing into the way I do with maybe my gameplay videos or these reviews. And these few months have been tough mentally, and it just drains so much out of me that I just don't really. I'm not gonna be able to focus, and the script is not gonna come out how I want it to. I'm not gonna be able to say everything that I really want to, and so the review is gonna leave me feeling, I feel like I could have done that better. So apologies that this has taken quite a while. I know probably some of y'all have been waiting for this. If none of you haven't, then well, that's a shame, because I don't care, because I'm here to make this video anyways, and I don't know where I'm going with this. I put a lot of time into the 07 video, and while I was glad I finished it, I felt really exhausted and burned out. So I decided to leave reviews on a bit of a hiatus and try to continue stuff such as gameplay videos like I mentioned, or voiceover, or just art, for example, because it's been a hot minute since I've done that. Like, holy shit. I managed to make some videos, but with those, I didn't really have to edit so much, as I said, and it felt so much more easier on me that I could just chill and take it easy. But enough of that. I don't really want to clog the video with my mental issues. That's not what you guys are here for. You're not my therapist, for fuck's sake. Y'all are here for the bots, and bots is what you shall receive. No, not the Twitter bots, you dummy! I mean the ones that transform, kick ass. The ones we totally don't have mommy or daddy issues for. So without further ado, let's head into Revenge of the Fallen and get revenge on the Fallen. What am I even doing? This movie sure was interesting. I remember when I saw it in theaters with my uncle, and back then I really liked it as a kid. But of course I didn't know any better. And now I just think it's meh. Not terrible, like the last night, it's just meh. Now I could go all day about the behind-the-scenes stuff regarding the film, like the writer's strike, Megan Fox being fired after this movie for comparing Bay to Hitler, Leo, the twins.
Why don't you get a haircut with your bitch ass?
The amount of horny energy in this movie. Good fucking lord, there's so much humping in this. But one thing that I can say about this movie is that the action is fucking cool. However, I don't really like it that this movie mainly focuses on the humans a little bit too much for my liking. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm also kind of like really just feeling meh about it. That forest battle was so fucking good. And it ends with Prime removing Grindor's face like he's a debt collector, except he collects faces. He's a face collector. The Fallen, however, I'm sorry, but this guy wasn't all that interesting to me. He just kind of came off as lame to me. I don't know. I did like his voice, and him being voiced by Jason Todd. I liked the voice, but I could not give less of a shit about the villain itself. We only have a few minutes where he fights Optimus, and then gets completely fucking owned. I mean, for being the original Decepticon, he didn't really have that much of a presence, at least in my opinion. I would have just wanted it to be Megatron and that's it, since he got beefed up after all. He spends almost the entire movie sitting like an old man, then he tears shit up for one scene, taking down all of these aircraft carriers. Prime wakes up, Fallen takes the Matrix and fucks off, gets owned by Prime, and his face gets taken too. Take it easy, Prime. Good lord, you need a Snickers. Well, that sure is a sight to behold. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about the movie anymore. I can dedicate that to its own separate video if I wanted to. For now, let's just head into the game itself. The The Xbox 360, PS3, and PC versions were developed by Luxoflux, while the Wii and PS2 versions were made by Chrome Studios. Luxoflux didn't really have that huge of a catalog as it was shut down in 2010 by Activision. Why the hell am I not surprised by this? They had games such as Shrek 2, Kung Fu Panda, and True Crime New York City, just to name a few. Chrome Studios, however, are better known for their Tide to Tasmanian Tiger games and the Legend of Spyro series, except Dawn of the Dragon. The game kind of roughly follows the story of the film, but the separate versions that were made by the two developers had a unique style of gameplay to them. We'll get to that in a sec. We start off with narration from Optimus as he explains the events of the last movie. With Megatron defeated and dropped to the bottom of the Laurentian abyss, the Autobots form an alliance with the humans to fight off the remaining Decepticons. We start off with a random satellite casually floating until an alien-like satellite docks with it, and of course if you've seen the movie, you'll know that this is Soundwave, who made his Bayverse debut in the movie. Being voiced by Frank Welker, but he didn't have the vocoder effect like he does in G1, so he just ended up sounding like Dr. Claw.
Decepticons, we have located the shard. Decepticons, mobilize. It is time.
In the game, however, he's voiced by Peter Josip. Here they do give him the vocoder effect.
Demolisher, sideways. Convoy route intercepted. Prepare to receive coordinates.
I just thought that was a neat inclusion. Sideways then shows up, who gets coordinates from Soundwave to collect one of the Cybertronian artifacts from this nest truck that gets pummeled by Demolisher, or Big Wheel from Spider-Man. At least Sideways did more in this game than in the whole fucking movie. This lazy sack of shit transformed only once, that's it. Then gets sliced by Sideswipe. Like, what are you doing, dude? Transform for fuck's sakes. You just did that like a few minutes ago when you're getting chased by the RC triplets. You start the actual game off with Optimus, which makes sense, of course. You skydive into the city of Shanghai as you shoot enemies on your way down, and that's kind of it. That's basically the end of the first chapter. You're then given control of Ironhide, and your mission is to take down Big Wheel Man, and it's here where we get to see what the rest of the gameplay will be like. Now, for the duration of the PS2 version, you play as different characters from both the Autobots and Decepticons, but in the PS3 version, there's a dedicated campaign to both sides, just like the 07 game. Now, I have played both versions, luckily, but it's been a long time since I did. I played the PS2 version when I was a kid, and I only got my hands on the PC version later on. If I had to say which one is better gameplay-wise and overall progression, I gotta give it to the PS2 version. Yeah, I said it. Okay. The PS3 version does have its ups, especially for it looking really good visually. I like how it looks. And I know that the PS2 version doesn't even let you transform whenever you want. Who the hell decided on that, by the way? Transforming is what these guys do on a regular basis. Come on. You can transform, but only as a special attack when your meter is full, which is so weird to me. Why keep the one major aspect that these characters are known for? I mean, the 07 game lets you transform whenever you want, so what's this game's excuse? The only time where you can transform whenever, kind of, is the Bumblebee and Sideways chase, where you play as Sideways himself, but there's not a whole lot to go off of. I mean, yeah, you can transform whenever you want, but you're constantly sliding against the road. Yeah, I mean, you can drive and move the car around, but it just kind of sucks that you can't really, like, explore or anything like that. I get it, it's a part of the mission, but it still kind of sucks that you can't transform whenever you want and explore. The Starscream mission also lets you transform, but that's kind of the same thing there as well. It's just a whole, it's kind of like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a whole, I mean, kind of, it's not automated like the previous one that I mentioned. You fly towards these different aircraft carriers, and then you kill enemies, and then you just kind of tear shit up there, and then move on to the next one. That's kind of what it is. Again, I feel like this game should have had the option to transform whenever you want, because every other Transformers game lets you fucking transform, so I don't fucking get it. Like, even in the High Moon Studios games, like, there they let you transform as well, and they let you explore however you want, either in your alt mode or robot form. The PS3 version does let you transform whenever your heart desires, thank God, but the repetitive missions really get tiring after a while. Now don't get me wrong, the PS2 version has the repetitive mission style as well, but they weren't that bad compared to this. Escort missions, eliminate a certain amount of enemies, deliver this from A to B, protect this building, kill all enemies, escort this character while killing a certain amount of enemies, bring Sam or Michaela from point A to point B, protect this truck. What is this miserable pile of sweaty cocks? I'm sorry, but I just don't like this. The game went for a more faster pace of combat compared to the 07 game with its slow brawl-like combat, and yeah, I mean, it functions well. I mean, that's all I can say. Like, yeah, you don't really have much moveset when it movesets. Kind of the same thing with the previous game, but at least it's not as slow. I mean, I didn't really have that much of an issue with the brawling system in the first game, but I do appreciate for it being a little bit more fast-paced here, not gonna lie. And speaking of the special attack, I mean, it's fine. I mean, yeah, I mean, they look nice. That's all I can really say about it. Yeah. I'm just still kind of disappointed that transformations and seeing the alt modes are locked behind this special attack. It's just so stupid to me. Also, the cutscenes on the PS3 version, what the fuck is this? All of these cutscenes are just a character standing around this pissing globe and talking like they're on coffee break. Come on, man, like, where's the movements? Where's, like, the different uniqueness in the cutscenes? Where are the, like, what? Like, why is every single cutscene, which then follows up on you choosing a mission, why is it just these characters sitting around this fucking pissing globe? Like, the PS2 one, the fucking PlayStation 2 version, had cutscenes that were all different, and that was cool to see. Like, yeah, at least we get to see more robots in here, at least in the fucking movie, Jesus Christ, but like, good lord, like, I don't get it, If someone knows why they made the cutscenes like this in the PS3 version, please let me know, because this is the fucking stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, can you imagine if War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, like, imagine if they just started off with, oh, the characters are just standing around in a circle, like it's a fucking intervention. One of them just goes like, hey, we need to go do this, we need to stop Megatron. Okay, and there's no movement, except for them just kind of like moving their heads and arms, and that's it. There's no expressive movements in the fucking PS3 version. Fuck this. Okay, look, I'm not trying to be so harsh on purpose. This game does have its okay points, and I know that people like this game a lot for how much nostalgia it gives them. And that's totally fine. If you enjoy the game, more power to you. But I can't. I'd rather play the 07 game any day. The plot is pretty much the cons reviving Megatron, him serving the Fallen, and finding these Cybertronian artifacts to find the Star Harvester. And the Autobots try to stop the cons from activating this device and blowing up the sun to Kingdom Come. The game ends with you fighting the Fallen as Optimus, slapping him silly, and saving the world once more. Cue the Linkin Park music. On the Autobot side, you get to play as Optimus B, Ironhide, and Jetfire, and that's it. On the con side, you play as Megatron, Starscream, and Sideways. Well, that's unfortunate. It's kind of unfortunate. At least in the 07 one, it lets you play more than 3. I can give it that. At least the other version has a range of characters you get to play as, like Ratchet, Jazz— wait, how are you still alive? Sideswipe and Breakaway. Jazz and Sideswipe are only DLC though, not part of the main story. I mean, okay, well at least you get to play them. The con side has Long Haul, Grindor, and Soundwave, but as DLC too. I mean, yeah, it sucks that they're only DLC and not really that much integrated into the main story that much to where you can play as them. But at least you get to play as them in the DLC campaigns, even though there's not a whole lot of missions to them. You also get to play as G1 Meg, Starscream, Sunstorm, and G1 Optimus. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's kinda cool. There's 15 chapters in the PS2 version, while the PS3 one has 23 missions for each campaign. Correct me if I'm wrong. If we're not counting the bonus stuff. If you just focus on the main objectives, this game can take about 6 hours. And yes, that's counting the both campaigns. While the PS2 one is around 3 to 4 hours, which is very short, not gonna lie. But I mean, it's okay. It doesn't bother me that much, but I mean, still, I'd still play that over the PS3 one. any fucking day. I'm sorry, but I can't with this fucking version of this. Also, that fight with Optimus as Megatron was some of the hardest shit I've ever endured. It's vice versa as well when you fight Megs as Optimus. Like, fucking, like, holy shit, why was this so difficult? Get me a therapist. The voice acting is good in these games too. I liked it, except the Fallen's voice.
Foolish Autobot, I will destroy you!
No offense to the guy who voiced him. Hearing Frank Welker's Megatron again too is just chef kiss.
Let this be our final battle, Prime. You and I, for the future of all Decepticons and Autobots. If you choose not to fight, then the death of all Autobots is on your conscience. Starting with this pile of junk. Alone, Prime. Alone.
Though this would be the last time he voices him in the Bayverse games before the role was given to Fred Tatasciore, who would debut as Megatron in the Dark of the Moon game, and would also go to voice him in War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and Rise of the Darkspark. But we don't talk about that one. It doesn't exist. While the PS2 game does follow the main plot of the movie, there are a few differences, like Sideways not dying in Shanghai except the PS3 version. Ironhide's Demolisher, Megatron kills Optimus in the Decepticon base instead of the forest, Fallen isn't sitting around like a lazy old bastard and is commanding the cons even before Megs gets a quick revive, and the fight with Devastator happens in Shanghai. I actually like that boss fight, I really dig it. And Optimus is the one that offs him, actually, rather than a fucking aircraft carrier railgun. And Jetfire is trapped in a Decepticon base rather than a museum. The PS3 version, though, follows the movie a whole lot more. That's all I can really say about it. I did like that you got to play as different characters. I did like that. And I did appreciate, like, the cutscenes being, like, very different. And like, can you imagine if this fucking movie would be focused more on the humans instead of the Transformers themselves? I feel like this game would have definitely gotten a much more negative reception if they just focused on the humans themselves. Like, imagine you go and buy a Transformers game, and you're very excited, being a Transformers fan all your life, and then you boot the game up, and then you start off with playing as a human, and you only get to see the Transformers maybe a few times. Maybe you get to play as them a few times, but then mostly you play as the humans. Like, that's pretty much what the movie is. Thank fucking god the game didn't end up being like that. Can you imagine, though? Holy fucking shit, that would be a nightmare. That's all I can really say about the game without repeating myself. At the end of the day, this game was just okay. It's not the worst thing I've played, but I don't see myself revisiting it ever again, or anytime soon. The PS2 version maybe, but it's not likely. While yes, there are some improvements from the 07 game, it still just falls a bit flat for me. I'd rather play the 07 game, even though I had some opinions about that one as well. Go check out that video, by the way. Thank you. Also, there's a PSP version for this? Interesting. I mean, the chase parts look neat, I suppose. I mean, the voice acting is okay. And that's all I can say about this. What? What else do you want me to say? Leave me alone, goddammit. And that about wraps this up. We've tackled the second movie game of the Bayverse, and if I had to give a final conclusion on what I think about all versions, the PS2 game is better for its story progression, cutscenes, environments, etc, etc, while the PS3 version just looks good visually. And the voice acting is good in that one as well, but that's all I can really say. That's about it. Alright, we're done. Well, that was quite a journey, wasn't it? At least I'm finally done with this now, and I can take another break. Oh, there's a DS version of this too? With each campaign being the two separate games just like the 07 game? And it has the same premise of you playing with your character who starts off as a protoform and gets his vehicle mode soon after? And it has the same style like the 07 DS game, and the Decepticon campaign ends with your character defeating Optimus, and we basically cuck Megatron and become the Fallen's new favorite, and Starscream just rubs it in his face like the little shit that he usually is.
Optimus Prime is defeated. No, it can't be. I was to be the only one to destroy him!
And yet you didn't. I can't have the general of my army be outmatched by a common foot soldier.
No!
Pity. He used to be the best Decepticon I had. You have earned a place by my side. We shall conquer the universe together, starting with this planet. You finally got what you heard coming to you, Megatron!
Well, slap my ass and call me Mary. Okay, now we're done. We're done. There's no more. Finito. Done. Finished. Thank you everybody for watching this journey of me talking about Revenge of the Fallen. And as always, I shall see you all in the next— oh, for fuck's sake, there's a mobile game too! Oh, I can feel Heaven's Gate opening. Ah, I see. Huh. Fascinating. At least I know that it exists now. What? The footage speaks for itself. Get out. Okay, seriously. Okay, we're done. Okay, we're done. We're done here. Yeah, that's all I can really say about the game itself. Like, I mean, again, it's not terrible. It's not absolute dog shit. But it's not something I'm gonna go back and revisit just so I could feel like, oh yeah, I wanna experience this game for how fucking amazing it is. Like, as a kid, I really enjoyed it, and I'm not gonna fucking belittle child Violet into fucking like being like, oh wow, this game is dog shit, so you're stupid for liking the game. Again, and I know there are people who are adults who like this game. Like, if you enjoy it, again, that more power to you. If you enjoy it, that's all, and that's fine. That's totally fucking fine. But again, I just don't like this. And with that, yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. It's been I'm probably gonna take a fucking break again, just so that I don't fucking burn myself out on this again. And yeah, I'll see you guys at some point with the Dark of the Moon review. That's gonna be quite of a journey in itself as well. And with that, thank you all so much for watching. And if you did enjoy this, go check out my other review, which is me talking about the 07 game. And as always, I shall see you all, my lovely crackheads, in the next video. Love y'all. Peace.